Hello and welcome back to this month's virtual Make and Take, where we are going to be exploring choice boards. My name is Sarah Wood and I'm an educational technology consultant for Kent ISD, and I'm including my contact information here in case you have any questions and you want to reach out. Feel free to do so at any time. And as always, I like to give credit where credit is due, and this idea of my virtual Make and Takes came from the Make and Take series that the Gold EDU ladies are doing. So if you have enjoyed this series, I highly recommend going over to their website and seeing the Make and Takes that they are doing. And just as a reminder, make sure you are part of the Google group. This will make sure that you have access to the files that are shared today that you will need to edit. And will also get you set up to receive emails about upcoming Make and Takes, and also connect with a community of like-minded educators. If you have not joined that Google group yet, simply head over to the website shown here and click on that Ask to Join group button, and within 24 hours I should approve that request that you have sent, and you will then have access to all the previous conversations and future ones in that group. Just reviewing our Make and Take sessions that you can revisit at any time, whether you would like to go back and participate in them or even just do the taking part. We've had Google Forms headers, Jamboard activators, digital stickers, computer science EDU reps, SEL check-ins, and data trackers. Big concepts that we will be exploring today as far as our what and our why is that we are going to create something that will provide students with voice and choice and the ability to learn at their own pace using a choice board. And choice boards are great ways to encourage students to be independent in their learning, seek help or even support when they need it, and really advocate for themselves and explore their strengths and their passions. I do have a list of standards for you if you choose to do something like this with students creating their own. I have some MyTech standards, as well as ISTE standards for educators for you if you need to document your professional learning. So if the idea of choice boards are new to you, I'm so glad you've joined today, because this is something that I personally love and use in so many different ways. But really, a choice board is a graphic organizer that allows students to choose different ways to learn about a particular concept. And I have a couple different examples shown here just to get an idea of what that might look like. But these, much like any of these other Make and Take creations, can be completely personalized and do not have to look exactly like the ones that you are shown here. One thing though that I do recommend you keep in mind when creating a choice board is to think about different structures. And choice boards can be structured in so many different ways based on what your expected outcomes for students are, or what you would like them to demonstrate as far as their comprehension or their exploration. But some of the main structures that I use are focused either around learning styles, STEAM concepts, or what I've kind of called the 6 C's plus, where you're kind of focused on some of those skills that are super important but aren't necessarily topic driven. As I said at the beginning, that this Make and Take series is not my idea, and Gold EDU had also done a choice board Make and Take, and one thing that they had shared in their presentation that I'm choosing to share here as well is their choice board roadmap. And I found this super helpful as far as getting started with creating a choice board if this is a completely new topic for you. So you can see there's brown squares that are must-dos and more of like a cream square that are can-dos. So you'll notice that everything begins with the topic. So this is all focused around the content first, and then you can kind of follow that roadmap and add different elements to your choice board. One thing I do like to do personally when I create choice boards is kind of have some built-in accommodations based on the students that are going to be using that choice board. So sometimes that includes audio or video recordings of directions or choices, maybe multiple ways of showing that work, text or images for each choice option, or simply providing multiple versions of the same choice board. So an example of adding a voice accommodation is having a QR code or a link where students can listen to you read text or read directions or read the options on the choice board. And another accommodation I kind of just is to me now second nature. It's part of my built-in structure of how I create choice boards, especially when working with students, is how I present that choice board. This could be something where you do maybe just text only, or you could do text with images, or maybe providing that same choice board in a second language with the text as well as the images, or having a choice board that has multiple languages on one page with the images. And so I just wanted to share this in case you are looking at for different ways you can build in some of those accommodations into your creation. And a common question that I hear about choice boards is, how do I grade students on this? And remember, especially with the Gold EDU roadmap, the content is the very beginning. That's what starts all of this. So make sure that if you are choosing to assess your students on what is presented in the choice board, that it's focused around the content, but also kind of going back to those different structures of choice boards. Maybe you're choosing to evaluate using a rubric that focuses on some of those 6C plus skills. So I'm sharing an example of that in case that's something that you would like to explore a little more. And because I figured, we're not done with Google Slides yet, why not do another make and take that kind of uses it? So as always, I'm going to review some of the features that we've used in previous make and takes, as well as share some new things. So we have adding our background, just changing the color, changing the background to an image, adding images to your slide from the Google image search within Google Slides, using outside image sources to add copyright-friendly images onto your slide, adding shapes, or lines, and probably one of the most helpful features that I use every single time I create a choice board is adding a table. So I highly recommend using this so that it lines things up where it's very easy for students to read. Something new I would like to show you that you could add to your slide as far as organizing your choice board or making it a little bit aesthetically pleasing, I guess you could say, is adding word art. So to do this, on the menu bar, click Insert and then choose Word Art. And then go ahead, enter your desired text and press Enter. And then you can use those formatting tools on the toolbar, such as your fill color, border color, weight, style, to kind of customize how your word art image appears. And when you're adding word art through Google Slides, you are limited to whatever fonts you have installed within your Google Slides. But if you're looking for something that's just different, that doesn't scream Google Slides or Google Docs, go ahead and try out one of these word art generators to create images, and then you can then put those on your Google slide. And as always, I like to share some other tools that you can use to accomplish this. This does not need to be done solely in Google Slides. The reason why I use Google Slides when I'm making choice boards is that I have so much more control over how things are displayed and layered, where I don't have that as much in Google Docs. But I have created choice boards in Google Docs when I just simply want to add text to my table. So it's just personal preference, to be honest. But some other design tools that you could use are Slides Go and Slides Mania. I have linked those because they already have some pre-made choice board templates. So now let's move into our making it portion. This month we are back to our familiar table of different topic areas. And as I say every month, please go ahead and look at other topics outside of maybe the content area that you teach. This might prompt ideas or introduce you to new or different ways of using tools. So take a look at those. Don't be isolated to just what you teach. And then go ahead and add a slide and maybe share a choice board you've created or create a new one that you can link on one of the slides. And for time management assistance, I have a timer here for you. And then the last part is that you are going to take it. So like many of these other make and takes, maybe you started from an idea that someone else had. That is totally fine. Just make sure you give credit where credit is due, and make sure that you are including on your own slide your name or social media or other contact information. So in case someone takes what you have created, they can give you that proper credit. And lastly, the important part is the evaluation to say, yes, I did do this make and take. And it also lets me know what you think and allows me to have documentation to provide you with sketch credit if you are interested in doing that. So I'm looking forward to see these choice boards that you have created. Like I said, this is something that I am personally passionate about in teaching and learning. So I'm excited to see what you've created and probably take some of your creations. Look forward to seeing you next time.